I like my nipples.
Hey! Welcome to another episode of Superhero Roundup Live here on SourceFedNERD. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me, the whole panel is here. Maude Garrett is back.
Yay.
Sam Basher is back.
Yay.
And DJ Wooldridge is here.
Yes.
Yes.
Not back. I was here.
You're back, but you were here last week.
How was Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys had a great time. And if you haven't watched their amazing videos from the floor at Comic-Con, you should check them out on SourceFedNERD. Folks, we've got a stacked show today. Let me break it down for you. We have the Batman vs. Superman and the Suicide Squad trailers to pour over and obsess about, crazy fan theories, stuff like that. We're going to be doing that right at the top of the show. At the end of the show, we're going to be talking about Ant-Man. We've all seen it. I know a lot of you haven't. So we're going to do a spoiler-free review, our general thoughts, general debate, and then we're going to do the pull list, and then we're going to go into our spoiler review.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you'll be able to enjoy most of the show, and you'll be able to come back and enjoy that review once you've seen it. Now, I've been getting some tweets from people who've been having issues with this show finding it on iTunes, that for some reason they say the episodes aren't on iTunes. So we looked into it, and the episodes are all there. There was some issue with our server. You have to go back to the show page and resubscribe to the show. I know it's weird, it's annoying, but all the episodes are there.
And I think there's some other issues. I was looking at Kevin Smith's Batman on Batman, and there were some issues with that. Like, it might have just been...
Yeah,
on
like,
iTunes,
it's
iTunes all the time.
A few different podcasts have been having this issue, including ours. So if you like the show and you prefer to listen to it rather than watch it, go to iTunes, rate and review the show, and resubscribe if you are missing those episodes. So let's talk about Batman v. Supes. Wait, but before we do, we always have a question of the day. Today's question of the day, which you can tweet at us using the hashtag SHRoundup, is what did you think of Ant-Man? If you've seen it, let us know. And if you want to tweet us your thoughts on Suicide Squad or Batman v. Superman, you can do that right now if you're watching us live. We do this show every week, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk Batman v. Supes first. What did you think of the trailer? And tell me what you're thinking.
Quick story. I was
Sam
walking
has a
around.
point.
I was walking around Comic-Con, just doing my
Like you do.
Comic-Con thing.
Sam has an anecdote.
I was walking by the DC booth and I heard it play and I hadn't watched it yet, so I stopped and I stood in front of the screen. It was a big screen. And I was staring at it, and then it came to the end and I was about to start crying, and I realized there's a big crowd behind me and like hundreds of people were watching it at the same time, and we all started cheering at the end.
Wow.
I almost cried out of just excitement. It could there were bad parts in the trailer, but I was.
Honestly, if I ever get the opportunity to make the movies that I want to make, I need to hire whoever edits Zack Snyder's trailers.
Right.
Because his trailers have always been fantastic.
But that's his best asset and his biggest demise.
Yes, so that is a good point. That is a good point, because I don't know if I would have been as disappointed with Watchmen if it weren't for that trailer.
Amazing trailer. For me, it grows on me every time I see it. The first time I watched it, I was like, anything that was Bruce Wayne on screen was perfect, and the rest of it, I was kind of like,
Wasn't he angry looking?
oh, but
That
like
scowl.
but like perfectly angry
His
looking.
scowl
That
game
scowl
was
as he's
on
holding
point.
the child and looking up to the sky. I'm like, ooh, I love it.
Oh, and if perfect Bruce Wayne, he's the one running into the rubble. Oh, so cool.
I like that so much because it at least gives you the hope that there's an exerted effort to make strong decisions instead of it just be going into it. I thought Batman was just going to be like, I don't like Superman as on a conceptual level. It's like he was there in the end of Man of Steel, and then you see that moment. Batman is the perfect character to have the human perspective in that situation, and so you see the destruction you're causing. And I'm a hardcore Superman fan. And I was like, yeah, fuck Superman.
Yeah, right?
That's terrifying.
They had to pick something perfect, and I love that they did the match cut with Zod's solar
His
heat vision.
heat vision, yeah.
Which is
What I'm really
terrifying.
digging is that you're seeing now, yes, there's comic books as references, but now you can kind of step away from it, and they're listening to the audience. So the biggest thing that came out of Man of Steel is, well, you just wiped out like entire skyscrapers of business buildings, and maybe 30,000 plus people are dead, but who cares? It's like, whoa.
No.
There are consequences now, and now you're seeing these consequences, and I think that's great. And I think Marvel's starting to do it too with something else which escapes me. But it's kind of cool that it's like, we've had so many comic book movies now, by Iron Man 3, that we're now kind of like building off the movies as if they're canon.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like this trailer more than anything cements the direction that they want, that DC wants their core films to go in, which is that we are going to treat this comic book universe not as comic booky, but as like, if this was the real world, this is how it would look. We're accepting this stuff as fact. It's not going to be weird that there's a prison full of supervillains that's getting ahead to Suicide Squad. But they're treating this as prestige cinema. Like, this is like something in their minds, The Dark Knight should have been nominated for Best Picture. Was it nominated for Best Picture?
It was not. It was only Heath Ledger was nominated for Best Actor, and he won. And the next year they opened up how many things could be nominated for Best Picture
because so many people wanted The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And I feel like they want to make these films to not just be movies, but be films, be cinema, be something that's taken seriously. And the only thing to me that's glaringly off is what we see of Lex Luthor in the trailer.
Ooh, that wig.
That wig is a wiggy wig.
I don't care. I mean, I'm fine with it.
I don't know why it's
I'm
there.
ambivalent.
Jesse
I don't know
Eisenberg's
either.
just annoying me.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg can grow hair.
He can grow
So
hair.
if he hasn't yet lost the hair,
we saw the
then
picture of him bald. Yeah.
So, or if he loses this hair later.
Was he so
don't
stressed
know.
it was just falling out?
Yeah,
How
I don't
do
know.
I
I'm
be
interested,
Superman?
I'm interested to see how he plays into what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm interested because we have shots of those Superman soldiers. I'm actually wondering. There's the shot where we see Zod's body being drawn behind Mercy Graves. I'm really excited to see Mercy Graves in a movie. And I'm actually wondering if he cloned Superman.
Maybe.
And if there's a
Or if he
clone Superman
clones
around.
Zod.
Do you hear the rumor that's going around about that?
No.
Is that the people are like, there's Doomsday in Batman v Superman?
No, I hope
I
not.
think they're kind of
You
like
can't
taking
blow your
it-
load with that
You
right
can't
off
blow
the
your
top.
load. No, you can't. But you need somebody. You need somebody that you would need Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman and Aquaman maybe to come in and fight and beat. You need somebody big.
You can't. For one thing, Doomsday is probably the least interesting Superman villain, and it just so happens he's part of the most famous arc Superman has been in our generation.
Right.
But Doomsday's only purpose is to kill Superman. Like the only thing that Doomsday has ever done that was interesting was kill Superman.
Well, speaking of the Superman soldiers, Brett
good in the
Henry
Justice League
at
cartoon.
Brett Henry on Twitter writes, "I'm worried about the Desert Batman versus Super Nazis in the trailer," which the more I think about it, the more I like that, because they're basically saying Batman went. The first time I saw it, I was like, Batman was in Desert Storm, or like something like Bruce Wayne cares enough about like saving people that he like went out to the desert, but like. Batman in the comics isn't always working at night, and sometimes you have to do shit during the day when you're not going to be scary, and you just have to fight. I feel like when he fights in the trailer, it's the most Batman fighting style we've ever seen.
One thing,
Agreed.
in my opinion, the Nolan Batman films are pretty unimpeachable. They're pretty much fantastic across the board, some more so than others. But Nolan is not as good at directing action as Zack Snyder is, and that is probably the only thing Zack Snyder is better at directing. And
But
so
what
it looked
about story?
yeah, I mean, well, but again, I think it's Chris Terrio.
Chris
remember.
Terrio.
It was from Argo, was brought in to work on the script, and so I feel like Ben Affleck is a hardcore Batman fan, and he's going to be stuck with this Batman for the foreseeable future. And so not only does DC have a vested interest in making sure this movie, the cornerstone of their new universe, doesn't suck, Ben Affleck has an invested interest in making sure his Batman and making
And
sure
he's
his
a
Batman
comic
does
book
not
fan.
suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Jeff Johns news, that Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck will be writing the Batman solo movie. Just made my heart feel good.
Also, they released right after that trailer, they released a picture of Batman in his desert costume, and it looks very heavily inspired from an Elseworld story that the name literally just left my brain. Liberty Files, Justice Society Liberty Files.
One of the cool things, and there was actually a big gripe, was Lex Luthor's last line of the trailer is like the red capes
are coming, which I think is maybe the name of the soldiers.
Yeah, and like
Red
people,
capes are coming.
the red capes are coming, and I thought there was a cool theory that was tweeted at me, and I'm sorry that I'm not giving you the proper credit, but you know who you are. But it was Lex Luthor is trying to come up with like my theory was, or their theory was, that they're trying to come up with a smear campaign for Superman to undermine him.
Yeah.
And then when he's at his lowest, they're going to bring in this super weapon that they're creating and trying to kill him. And that's why Batman can like maybe be raised up and praised by getting rid of Superman as well.
That is maybe why I also wonder if him clone that whole smear campaign idea might be where the clone Superman comes in, and to me would be a door to Bizarro.
Oh, cool. Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be so...
Bizarro
I
would
didn't
be
wanna do
really,
that.
really cool on screen, but I still don't know. I like the idea of the smear campaign. I feel like he's...
Can we just address the fact that smear is one of the worst words ever?
Schmear.
It's not worse than moist.
No, I prefer moist over
You
smear.
prefer moist over
Is that
Guys,
pap
let us know in the
schmear?
comments if you prefer moist over
or
schmear.
Smear.
We have
Smear,
a
schmear.
tweet here from Saravia at Forever a Killjoy. I'm afraid the movie will be too crowded or that they will try to fit in too many setup stories. Thoughts?
Yeah, you're getting to like Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2 territory with too many villains. We have too many heroes.
Right,
you
because
also
you've also got Wonder Woman in there.
Yeah.
You've
Oh,
got
barely.
Shea making an opinion.
She
she's
looks
beautiful.
She looks
Oh.
fantastic.
In
Did
motion,
we see,
she looks perfect.
Did we see her say a word?
And there's
No.
also a joke in the editor's room that you could take her scenes look like they have nothing to do with any other scene in the movie.
Exactly.
But you also got to remember the Dark Knight, which is praised as one of the best superhero movies
It's
of all
also
time.
crazy overcrowded.
And because each character functions as part of the story. It's not like they just shoehorn them in because you've got Joker, you've got Scarecrow, you've got
Two-Face.
Two-Face, you've got the gangster that
Maroni.
Maroni.
Yeah.
Like there's tons of characters in that movie, but they all serve a function, so it doesn't feel overcrowded.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
People are going crazy about moist.
You
and
know who
smear.
else doesn't say a single word on camera in the trailer? Superman.
He did.
That's true.
He does not
His
say-
almost. He almost says a word.
Mom gets a really hardcore line like, "You don't owe this world anything."
It was a very good throwback to The Dark Knight Rises.
But I also think it's interesting that you look at Pa Kent's lines in the first Man of Steel, and the take seems to be with these Kents that they care about Superman as their son. They don't care about him as an icon. They don't care about him as a superhero. They care about him as they are meant to take care of him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never thought of it. That's kind of
And I like that's interesting. Like it's an interesting take on those characters because normally everybody around Superman's like, "You've got to be this thing."
Yeah.
And she's like, nope.
Yeah, you're like, "Nah, screw it. You're my kid.
Yeah,
All
you
you
don't
have
know
to be is my kid."
Aw.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
And she's
man.
a great Martha Kent. Martha
Yeah.
Kent?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because she 30 years ago could have played a great Lois Lane,
Yes, she could.
Yeah.
and I think that's part of what
Speaking
sells
of
it.
Lois Lane, Amy Adams is working this. Hopefully not for very long.
I
don't have a problem
I
with
like
her.
Amy, I like
I've
Amy
never
Adams.
had a problem
My
with her
only-
in that role.
they don't give her enough to do.
They gave her a lot to do. She was just like, she had too much to do in Man of Steel. Too much to do. She was doing too many things. Why was she in the Arctic? I'm sorry. I don't know.
want to ask you guys
She
a
went into
question.
space in the
So,
middle of the
in the
movie.
Batman v Superman trailer, there is a shot of Batman looking at what appears to be a Robin suit with a
Yes.
graffiti message from the Joker saying, "Ha ha ha, the joke's on you."
Yeah, and actually we have a picture of that, and if you look closely enough, you can see the R in the corner.
Which
so
is
it
cool.
is, yeah, it is very
It's
much
a
Robin suit.
weird-looking Robin suit.
It very much it reminds
Is it
me
like
of
bronzed?
It likes me of the Batman Arkham games Robin suit, and I don't like. I get that our Batman's more militarized and everything, and I get that would be what that Robin. It just
Well,
I want
Robin's
to look more like
agile,
Robin.
isn't he? He's like
yeah.
a boy. He was always agile. He's always
gymnast,
doing
yeah.
flips more so.
But whatever, it's a Robin suit. This Joker likes putting marks on things. He likes leaving messages.
He likes leaving messages.
Yeah.
Now, there's a theory that's been circulating online that Sam, you and Maud put us on to. Do you want to explain it?
There is a theory that
A lot of people in the chat room, Jason Todd, Jason
in
Todd, they're
Jason
getting
Todd.
it. They're
Yeah,
getting it.
no, they're saying that about probably the Robin suit, but no, the theory is actually that the Suicide Squad Joker is Jason Todd.
I don't think it is.
I don't
and the reason
buy
why
it.
is because there is a there's a J on his face for Joker or Jason, and there is a bird tattoo on the Joker's right or left arm and the bicep, and that could be a Robin.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea, but it doesn't quite make
Fit
sense.
in, yeah.
It's unique.
It's unique. I don't think it's a.
They were
I think
arch
it's
nemesis.
a disastrous.
Nemesis.
Yeah.
I think it's a disastrous idea. But what's funny is that website you guys pointed out to us. All those explanations could also be explanations to just why Joker got those tattoos. Because if
True.
you get the little teardrop tattoo when you've killed somebody, so maybe he did get the
I
J
think
for
he's-
Jason Todd that
Yeah.
he murdered.
I think he's going head to head with Jason with a crowbar,
Yeah.
and Jason's gonna die.
Do you want to talk about the other
We should.
rumor.
But you guys talk about that in the comments. See if you agree or disagree or think it's a cool idea. but-
Real quick before you get into that, I making it Jason Todd for one. If that is the origin of the Joker, like for one thing, Jared Leto's the same age as Ben Affleck.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
They're both
You can change
40.
that. You
Yeah,
can
but
change
like
that.
it's just
yeah.
not. It's
No,
just
whoa,
such
whoa,
a
whoa.
weird.
Jared Leto hasn't aged in like 25
He
years.
hasn't,
Yeah.
but I think whoever came up with that theory, it was just a big way to try and get around the fact that they really don't want Joker to have tattoos. Joker has tattoos in this universe.
Yep.
Get over it. It doesn't matter. If you think down in your heart of hearts, do you really care that Joker has tattoos?
Nope.
He's not real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100.
He's not yours.
100%. I feel like this theory is entirely about explaining away the tattoos.
Yeah.
That
Maybe.
Joker would never do this, and it must be a crazy Jason Todd.
I think there's been a backlash to the Apocalypse pictures too, and I feel like
Oh, man.
nerds told people to watch these movies wrong. How they look doesn't matter. Is the performance good? Are you getting something out of the movie? Are you entertained by the movie? Does the person, for a minute while you're watching the movie, make you forget that they're an actor and you think that they're that character? That's what matters. I don't care if you think Apocalypse looks like Ivan Ooze. It doesn't matter.
But okay,
Yes,
part
it
of
does.
growing
It's terrible.
But it
no,
does
it,
look
but it doesn't. It doesn't
It
look
does.
terrible.
It
Actually,
does.
it doesn't
It
look
does.
exactly
It
like a
look-
movie Apocalypse would look like.
I just.
No.
I don't know why people are freaking out. It looks fine.
No,
I'm not
CGI
freaking out.
would
I
have
just
been
think he
fine.
looks lame.
I think he looks lame too.
but it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters
No,
is when you're
it
sitting in
doesn't
that
matter.
theater and does it work?
Yeah. If Oscar Isaac plays the character like I know he'll play him,
Yeah.
I know he's going to be an
I
incredible
think he
villain,
has
but
to-
just a photo of him looks stupid.
I think he has to up his acting prowess to try and make me believe that that is something that's real.
A real thing.
I think you're looking at set photos. I also think that's exactly what a movie Apocalypse would look like. I don't think there's any version of Apocalypse that people would have been like, oh, that's fine. Oh,
DJ
you want
has
the
a point.
you want the lips that he has, so it's Apocalypse. I mean, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I like that.
No,
like-
I would have been fine though. I didn't need practical effects for an apocalypse.
But
He's
you- but
crazy.
that's the thing. If you make it like I just saw Jurassic World, and it looks like a cartoon. And it's a fun cartoon.
Yeah.
But it looks like a cartoon.
Parts of Ant-Man look like a video game, but it's a fun video game.
Yeah, and it's one of those like I'm glad they went practical. Whatever.
Can we weigh
Uh,
in on this, guys? What do you think? Do you think Apocalypse looks good or just absolutely stupid?
I
We are gonna
I
go
will
to-
go. Since I'm the only one on the couch, I like the way Apocalypse looks. It looks exactly like I imagine a movie Apocalypse would look like.
See, I think that this Joker, while he doesn't look like any Joker I ever imagined,
Yeah.
Oh.
in the Suicide Squad trailer, which we should get to right now,
Mm-hmm.
he looks and sounds perfect. From moment one that you see him in motion, I'm like, yes, yes, that.
Also, Joker has had tattoos in the comics
Okay.
from time to time, and also I feel like just transitioning to the trailer, Joker's the least interesting part of the trailer. It's
you.
not bad. He's
for
just,
you.
Yeah.
No, but no for everybody else. And okay, don't call it a trailer. It's
Oh,
not a
it's not a
trailer.
trailer.
Don't call
it's
it a
not
comeback.
People are calling it a trailer, and they're like, it's nothing. You're looking at nothing. You're looking
Clips.
at the first couple clips that
Yeah.
they got, and that you've already seen because we know that you were looking at those leaked photos, or you were taking them. All right.
Yeah, you taking those.
So they're like,
photos.
here you go. You want to ruin it for everybody else? Here, watch the same thing, different angle.
Suicide trailer. I think this Joker looks completely new. Looks completely different. Sounds a lot like Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, sounds a lot like Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Huge leather Joker.
Yeah, he looks
It's
like
like,
Heath
don't
Ledger
copy.
Joker.
Make this Joker entirely yours. Like create this from the inside out.
I'm
and he's
sure
actually well, I mean, you know that Heath Ledger was very, very method acting with the Joker. Apparently that's why he got a little bit kind of in his own head after shooting it because he didn't really snap out of it, which is why they've actually brought in therapists on the set of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Because they're taking it so seriously and Jared Leto will
that's so
not break
cool.
character. We know that he's sent the crew a dead hog.
Yeah.
We know that he's writing
he's-
love letters to Margot Robbie and
Oh,
sent
get
her
her
a
a
rat.
Yeah.
She's kept the rat, even though the crew were like, maybe just kill it. I don't know. So he will not break character, and he's trying to be the most warped possible. This is what Heath did, though. I think, yes, it looks so different, but I just kind of, if I shut my eyes, I don't want to hear Heath.
That's fair. That's fair. But like, I respect it. I respect that kind of dedication to a character.
I love
Especially a
that they're
comic
actually
book
treating
character.
this sensibly as well by providing therapy. to
Yeah.
people.
I
Like,
also-
this can stay with you.
Yeah, because no one talked about that. Apparently, Heath Ledger was in good spirits on the set, but it's good to just hedge your bets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hedge your bets.
Real quick, can we talk about DJ your performance in Batman v
Oh,
Superman?
man, I got
yeah.
so many
Let's
tweets
throw
that
that
I
up
was
on
like,
the Twitter from Fritz at endless. Yeah.
I got so
Little-
many
little
tweets,
pit.
and then my favorite thing, we get it in the comments all the time. Am I the only one? You're never the only
You're
one.
never the only one.
Uh,
Also, if you say that, you're not the only one.
Yeah. And people thought I was the guy that was chained up, which would have been great. What a great cameo in the fucking Batman movie. If I could have been one of the criminals that he branded, which, by the way, people had issues with the branding. But one of Batman's big inspirations was Zorro, who put those Xenon people. So to me, that's a fun throwback. I mean, it's rough.
Definitely makes him way crazier.
Yeah, he's definitely crazier in this movie.
Yeah.
But
Suicide Squad.
Killer Croc is.
Killer Croc
cool.
looks great.
I don't know if we saw him. I think
I've seen him before, though. Oh, in Fantastic Four. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I think the thing that stood out to me the most was Viola Davis as Amanda Waller.
She's great.
That is Amanda Waller.
I absolutely agree. That opening scene where she's talking about them like they're objects and not people.
Yeah.
That set the tone really well, and she's
Are
going to
you
kick
the
ass.
devil?
Are you going? I hated that line. The two lines that I hated were "Are you the devil?" and "So what? We're some kind of Suicide Squad."
Oh my God! Why don't
Wait, okay. On Reddit, they had a very good joke running. They wanted Will Smith in every movie to say that line. They're like, "What are we? Are we some kind of Force Awakens? Like, what is this? Some kind of Jurassic Park?"
This must be some sort of Batman v Superman: The Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
Here, Chris, can you scroll up? We had a couple of good comments.
But
I
okay,
wanna read.
besides that, I like Will Smith in it. He looks legit with the mask on,
like
moving
him.
around.
He looks legit with the mask on. I don't know if he looks like he's playing Will Smith to me, and not
I
Floyd
agree.
Lawton.
And my thing is, if you've seen Focus, I'm sorry for you because I have too. And Margot Robbie and Will Smith together again is exactly like those two in Focus. And it's going to be hard for me to kind of disassociate that together.
Get out of it.
Yeah. Because that's their chemistry's already there and they're great together.
Yeah.
But it's been used before. And now they're like, oh, they just look a little bit different, but they're the same people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes
Same
perfect sense. But
characters
how
even.
cool is it to see Katana in a movie? Fucking Killer Croc running around, live action Harley Quinn.
Okay, and
Can we
everybody
talk
looks
about the
great.
Harley Quinn?
Yeah, can we talk about her? Because I'm not sold.
Neither.
Wait, from
I don't know
what?
if we see
She
enough.
barely did
Like,
anything,
I do like because it's such
She
so
barely did
little.
anything. I feel like most of the trailer was
Most of
about
the
her.
clearly they've already
she
shot
didn't do
most of
much.
her scenes, but because there's like 10 shots of her in the cell, and because again they've only been filming for like a month. Like this is just what they had that they could put together a trailer for. But I mean, she looks the part. She looks.
That's
fun.
why we have
I
the
don't-
shot of Floyd Lawton as a 70s pimp walking down 70s Pimp Street.
Which again, like, why does he have kids? Who knows?
Make him more
He has
relatable.
kids in multiple versions of his character in the story.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's the same. He's
thought you
never
meant
been
Will
like
Smith.
much as a family man. For me, Harley Quinn. I was not distracted by Harley Quinn at all.
Okay.
Me neither.
What
They
did
definitely
she
focused
say?
on
What did she
her.
say in the
Yeah,
car?
very
You better
much.
have insurance or something?
Better
Oh,
have
when
insurance.
when Batman's riding on top of the car or whatever. I don't know.
We got some
that-
comments here. Gunnar Hawkson says, "Doesn't Jason Todd turn into Joker Jr. in one of the animated movies or series?"
Nope.
I think you're talking about Batman Beyond Return of the Joker,
Tim
which
Drake.
is Tim Drake.
because Jason Todd does not exist. in
Tim
that.
Drake turns into.
Don't.
Yeah,
we just spoiled Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
God
for
damn it! And
everybody.
that's like one of the best animated movies in DC ever.
The other
Whoa.
cool thing in the Suicide Squad trailer is
you need to see it. It's great.
theory is that it's when they're breaking the Joker out. All those guys, like the guy with the Batman mask and the panda suit and
yeah,
everything.
that's great,
And there's a character that looks exactly like the Marvel villain, the Orb, with the giant eyeball for a head.
Yeah.
That reminded me of the town. It's like that adds flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also rumors that line that Joker's saying, like, "I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad," is to
I'm not going to kill you.
pre-Harley Quinn.
I'm just going to hurt you.
Which I don't. We'll see, but I don't like because I thought it was a lot more interesting when Joker basically just slowly manipulated her instead of like, "I'm gonna fry your brain till you're insane." Like it's not as interesting.
It
but
isn't,
we'll see.
but also people are talking about that being Jason Todd. About like they're using like Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and then the Batman solo film to do the arc of Jason Todd and then maybe introducing Tim Drake and having Nightwing already in there. That way you understand like why Batman is so messed up. by the time you get
And the
into
other
Robin.
thing I'd like to say, people were talking shit about the fact that we see Batman's parents.
Again.
Whatever. I have a I think it'd be really interesting. The best way to do that is if it was a dream he was having. And how crazy would it be if he's having this dream and you get the impression that this is a recurring nightmare for him?
Yeah.
And Superman shows up and grabs the bullet.
Yeah.
And then turns and fries Batman's parents with his eyes.
Whoa!
Because then you get the two things that Bob. Because you're sitting there, oh, we're seeing this again, and then you get a perfect picture of the Batman's two feelings about Superman. One, Superman can do everything that I never could, and two, if he wanted to, he could do so much more damage.
Yeah.
All in one.
It's a really effective way to show that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He
probably
I think that'd be
caught
the best way
bullet.
They probably won't.
They
do that.
probably
They
will
won't
not do that. I
He
just think
could-
it'd be cool.
Yeah, it could
Cut the bullet.
resent him, going, you had the power to stop this, but you weren't there.
But also his line that because that whole theory of Jason Todd being the Joker, 20 years of doing this, because this Batman's been active for 20 years. How many good guys are still left? How many are still good guys? I think is a Red Hood reference.
there you go.
So him
See,
becoming
And also,
Red Hood.
you killed your family. So
To me,
Right.
I thought
Right.
that was a red herring, and that he was talking about Two-Face.
Oh, it could work for a lot of Batman's had a rough history.
Oh, bro.
So
But
was Two-Face. Two-Face was Tommy Lee Jones in the first time that we really saw him. But then the second one, Harvey Dent, the whole Aaron Eckhart, who has got a bum for a chin. Like, I just don't think he got much airtime. They could have done so much with that character, but it was kind of over before it even began.
True.
That is true.
He
But I
felt
did like
tacked
the way
on
he
that
was
movie.
utilized.
Yeah.
I think they were originally setting him up for the third movie.
Yeah, but that didn't work.
It did not work.
Someone else decided
But
to
also,
steal his
wait,
thunder.
overall Suicide Squad movie trailer thoughts.
Oh, we haven't talked about Cara Delevingne, Enchantress.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
they
yeah,
set
she
her
looks
up a
like she
lot.
pooped herself at all times.
That's the other thing that bothers me about the trailers. I don't need Harley Quinn's origin. I don't need Enchantress's origin. I don't need the
Yeah,
origin.
Can we
of
just
the
explain
you
why
do
she
not-
looks like she's literally coming out of a swamp, and more is the Swamp Thing's girlfriend?
I think
Next
because
she's
there's
gonna crawl out
signs
of the
of her.
toilet
There's
because you
shots
watched
of her,
the trailer.
Yeah, there's signs of her looking like a scientist, and there's the shot of her where it looks like Rick Flagg's about ready to make out with her as a scientist.
Oh, they are together.
Is that
aren't
her?
they?
Is
I
that
think
her?
she's possessed by something.
I think so,
And
too.
so there's fine, nice scientist Enchantress, and then there's Swamp Thing.
And then you've got Harley Quinzel, who's fine, nice little therapist, and now she's bonkers. And someone was like, just put a mallet in her hand. I cannot agree more.
I think
That
the
would be
baseball
nice.
bat is supposed to be this movie's equivalent. Of that.
No, we'll get a mallet. We'll
You
get
get
like
the mallet?
We'll
You
get
want
like
the
an
mallet? We'll get the
arrow
mallet.
punching bag arrow, like how he accidentally gets it and
Yeah.
uses it. He'll
Like
she'll
they're at a fun,
accidentally get
she's
a
at a
mallet.
fun house
She'll
and she
find a
uses it to
giant mallet and
yeah.
just use it
Boink.
once and be like,
exactly. Look at
and
the
then
camera.
put it away. Yeah.
I like the trailer.
I guess
She'll
for
look
some
at the
sort of
camera and be
Suicide
like,
Squad.
Be like,
said
now
do not call it
come,
a trailer."
come,
Do not
fans,
call it a
come,
trailer. I like
nerds.
I like the footage.
All right. So we talked about both these trailers. Obviously, we have very strong feelings about them. Continue to let us know your thoughts at the hashtag #SHRoundup or in the comments. We're now going to go into our spoiler.
No. We've got so many other things. We need to spend the next 10 minutes talking about casting news on
Real
Arrow
quick.
season
Okay,
4.
okay.
Both Mr. Terrific and Anarchy have been cast.
Yes.
And-
Anarchy, the dumbest spelling of the dumbest sounding character of all time. Anarky.
He seems kind of like
Anarchy.
a
Anarchy
sadder
hole.
Deathstroke a little. I was reading a background because I don't know the character. I tried to read a
No,
background.
he's like the lead in Mr. Robot, but in a comic
Yeah,
book
but
show.
he's talking about how I think in the comics he's a lot of times been used as like a proto Joker. So he might be used in that. But Mr. Terrific, who they're making gay in the show, which to me makes him more interesting.
Yeah, Echo
Read into
Kellum
that what you
playing
will.
Mr. Terrific.
And so that's
a great
cool. New
name.
costume with Arrow that I know you guys have.
Yes, he's sleeveless
a
now
lot
and a
better.
lot of leather. I'm a big fan
and
of
he's
it.
got
more
a
tactical
vent on the
looking.
hood.
Because now if he could just get the goatee, we'd be
Oh, and a little
Yeah.
bit more blonde. Just
yeah, a little
little.
bit more
Go a
blonde.
little
He's
bit-
he's got some
Blonde
sun.
at all.
Yeah.
Once he gets a little
Is he
older,
blonde at all?
final season.
Maybe
After
the-
he's been in exile for years, he'll come back.
Maybe the green hood will bring out the
The
blonde.
blonde, exactly.
There you go. Makes
it
the
pop.
blonde elements.
Yeah.
But I never liked the Arrow costume, and so this is a lot better. And apparently he's going to go by the name Green Arrow.
Yeah,
super.
first episode. Yeah, they said.
Oh,
they-
really?
They said first episode is titled Green Arrow.
Oh my gosh.
My bad.
Cut to he's on a boat and he's like, oh, you're looking a little green, Arrow.
No one uses puns that often.
Even better, I think. And also the producers have talked about, and Stephen Amell's talked about, they want to try and get Matt Ryan on as Constantine in Arrow. They're
Wendy
trying to do
Miracle-
it.
an episode or
said
two.
They're trying. They're
Yeah.
trying. They don't know. It's a legal dispute, and they remain hopeful, which means nothing. But at least they want to.
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
cool.
But we want to talk about Flash Season 2 really quick. Jay Garrick, Teddy Sears is cast. Patty Spivot was Chantel Von Satin. Papa Snart is Michael Ironside.
Yep.
Wally
Yeah.
West is not cast. But Adam Smasher is Adam Edge Copeland from WWE. When I'm
And
doing a
his costume looks
Wait,
very
superhero.
the
Dane-like.
Edge?
Yes.
Edge.
I had a crush on him
Really?
when I was
Adam
like 13.
Smasher.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
I like
and
Edge.
I'm
Yeah.
doing a Superhero 101. It will come out next Thursday on the Adam Smasher, so we can learn about that guy.
How
Super.
great does Teddy Sears look for Jay Garrick? Like,
Oh,
he looks
he's-
like Captain America.
No, we were
He's
talking about it.
perfect.
He
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
CW's old person.
Well,
Yeah, right.
well, have you
CW
seen him
approved.
on Masters of Sex?
No, but
he's a solid actor, and he's
Pretty.
got like serious physicality, and I love that he looks very different from Barry Allen, and it means that he's going to be a different kind of speedster.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if since they're bringing Wally West and with all these speedsters running around, there's a risk of it becoming a little redundant. I wonder if, and clearly Barry Allen's not going anywhere anytime soon. What if instead of Barry Allen dying and Wally West taking his place as Flash, what if Jay Garrick dies and Wally West takes his place as Flash as Earth 2? The Earth 2 Flash.
I can see that. I think they're a little bit more disposable, is what you're trying to say as well, right?
I think Jay Garrick is more disposable than Barry is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
so
So
if
if anyone's going to replace and step up, because
Yes,
Wally West
probably
becomes the
Earth
kid
2
first.
Jay Garrick. Yeah.
And they were also talking about in this season a lot of the superpowered foes or allies are going to be coming from Earth 2. That's where
That's
Atom Smasher is
interesting.
coming from.
I'm also very interested in to see what their plan is with Zoom because it looks like he's very different than what we understand of Professor Zoom from the comics.
The trailer
Zoom v.
has
Flash.
a blue
Dawn of
streak
Justice.
running through the streets, and the
Yeah.
only blue speedsters in the comics, I'm not trying to spoil, is one Future Barry and
Yes.
Cobalt Blue. And that's where a lot of people thought that Eddie would become Cobalt Blue, so Eddie maybe the blue from the wormhole.
I mean, who
I don't
knows?
know.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
Zoom is coming.
But Michael Ironside as Leonard
Snark.
Snart's dad is going to show up in episode 3,
Yeah.
and he's going to try to use Captain Cold for some kind of nefarious scheme. He's a career criminal, and the first 10 episodes are all about Leonard Snart's journey to becoming the person who will help save the world for Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
crazy
another word poll is snart better than smear.
I'm going to
Guys, I
say
think I
no.
just
I'm going to
snarted my
say
pants.
Smear is better than Snart.
You guys just did a news report today. There's been X-Men pictures released with Apocalypse and
Yes.
Psylocke. They look fine.
I like
They look fine,
Psylocke.
They look fine.
I love
think,
Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, too.
Yeah, I'm excited for the movie. The last
Storm.
2 X-Men films have been.
Game of Thrones. How the hell are we going to shake Sansa Stark from
Not
Jean
going
Grey?
to.
Exactly.
American accent.
No.
Yeah, that always distracts me.
Did I just
more.
become a different person now that I'm doing one? No.
Where did Maud go? Oh, there you are.
Oh, there she is.
I do love Mohawk Storm. Mohawk Storm's my
She
favorite
looks
version of Storm
great.
from the comics, and she looks awesome. in it.
Now,
80s
from what I'm
Storm.
gathering, they say that Apocalypse finds Storm out of control in Cairo. So
Yeah.
is Apocalypse just single-handedly picking his dream team? Is that what's going down?
It seems
Well.
they've said at the
Panel,
that panel that he's like a cult leader,
yeah,
and I think it's an interesting way to
That's what
take that.
do we
Magneto
want to
was in
talk about
First
who the
Class.
4 horsemen are? Because they announced it.
Oh no!
What?
Clearly
He's one of them,
Archangel because
Archangel?
they've shown him.
Archangel, Storm,
Uh-huh.
Psylocke, and
Yeah.
Magneto.
That's
Magneto, we could tell
hardcore.
if you.
The cover, he looks very different. Oh,
Yeah, he's got
Sorry,
like
yeah.
yeah,
he's
very
got like
armory.
it's like an Iron Magneto. It's got an Iron Man suit.
And apparently he's playing both sides against the middle again.
yeah,
that's what Magneto
because that's what
does in these
Magneto
movies.
does all the time.
Yeah.
But
all the time.
How is this dissimilar to First Class, where you had Kevin Bacon handpicking Magneto, Emma Frost, Devil Dude?
Because
I will
Apocalypse
tell-
will make them more powerful.
I was gonna say because Apocalypse is purple.
Also, I desperately want them to explain what Apocalypse's powers are because I've never understood
He's got
what
all
they
of them.
are.
He's like got
I've never
so many
quite
of them, man.
understood.
He can
what his-
control mutants.
Cool.
Real quick.
Rough.
before
Hold on.
we-
And what makes Psylocke cool?
Actually, you
Or
know
is she
what?
like one up from Jubilee? No offense.
I always liked Psylocke in the comics because she was hot. But I never understood what made her work as a character until Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force run, and he made her very interesting. And she functioned in that series as the bridge between the more traditional X-Men good guys and these murderers she was on a team with.
that was
And
Mystique.
It was kind of her, yeah, but it's not Mystique in the comics. I think again, there's no bad characters, just bad writers. I find Psylocke can be in the hands of the right writer can be very interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's Olivia Munn, and she's not a bad actress.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Batman,
bad.
and the chat says Apocalypse literally can give powers.
Wow.
In
other
what
people.
version? Where did
I've got a Marvel
know if that's true,
I got a Marvel
dude.
encyclopedia. So when I saw the last X-Men and then it was like the cutscene with Apocalypse, I was like, all right, let's find out about this guy. And it was like superpowers. I was like, oh my! And that's when I actually felt scared.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this is.
in every
how do you beat
adaptation,
this
it's
guy?
always and they always function different. Like just give me a good solid
He
explanation
can
of how his powers work.
create and manipulate energy, I believe. believe, or like there was some sort of like.
All right, we're gonna talk about one more thing, and then we're gonna move on to Ant-Man.
One really fun comment from Oncers, Puerto Rico. Sam, this question is for you. Is it me or in every X-Men movie does Storm lose more and more hair?
Yes.
She sounded
Yeah.
like
Yes,
a
because
full
they've been
weird
trying to
one.
get to the Mohawk version of her.
Yes.
But they went forward then back.
Oh yeah, Halle Berry is all down for a Storm movie. Let's not make that happen. Jonathan Gordon
least not with
at
her.
The Superior Bat writes, "Are you guys excited for the new DC animated movie, The Killing Joke?" Of course we are.
Yeah. Also,
was announced?
Yeah.
we'll bring this up again at the end next week because of VidCon. Literally nobody will be here for VidCon, so Super Roundup's taking a week off. But the week we come back, we'll be talking about the new animated movie Justice League: Gods and Monsters, which should be coming out that week, and we
Yes.
should have a pretty cool guest for
And
that.
we'll
So-
also recap the web series episodes, Gods and Monsters Chronicles, which
Yep.
are on Machinima and are free if you guys want to watch those and you don't want to spend money to watch the animated movie.
Back up. Killing Joke is a cartoon.
Yes.
That's Killing Joke's one of the most brutal things ever. Are they
Yes.
going to do the whole Barb Gordon
Yes.
in a?
a lot of their animated movies
what?
have been PG-13.
But
No, but that's not
no.
PG-13.
It's
Well,
not.
they
Well-
heavily imply that it's rape in the comic book. I don't know if they're going to go that far in this animated movie.
What?
Without spoiling too much of Batman Arkham Knight, there is a sequence that heavily references the Killing Joke, and they skip over that portion of it entirely.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine
Far
that
for the
they're
best.
going to infer just enough without going that far.
I
Mark
think,
Hamill and Kevin Conroy returning for the Killing Joke says I'm Batman.
I don't.
I believe him.
I
I
no
don't-
longer believe you on Batman.
But it's Batman.
you are not Batman.
You're not
It's not
Batman.
Batman?
I also don't necessarily need the Joker to exist as a sexual entity.
But it wasn't.
That's why they cast.
But
Jared
that's
Leto.
not. It's not about.
You don't
sex.
cast. You don't
It's
cast
about
Jared
power.
Leto to have non-existent.
It's about
sexual
power.
entity.
It's about
It's about
power
power,
for
yeah.
him.
Yeah, but anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's
So-
a really heavy subject.
So, folks, we are moving on to our discussion of Ant-Man, which is now
Sam
out
has a
at cinemas.
hand up.
Sam, do you have a point?
When Michael Cera got cast as Robin for
Yeah,
the Lego Batman movie.
That's
And
true.
also, they're talking to the Vacation writers to write the new Spider-Man movie because fuck you.
Yeah.
Because fuck you, everyone.
Okay, that's it.
Okay,
All right.
are we done talking about everything else? I know
Yes.
there's tons of stuff to talk about, but it's
Yeah, why did
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man have to come out the week that we had Comic-Con news and all this shit to talk about?
I don't
They
know.
knew.
Ask Kevin
They
Feige.
knew.
Okay, real quick, we got a question for DJ
Yeah.
from Answers Puerto Rico. Since the Arrow and the Flash are amazing shows, which DC superhero would you like to see join the CW? Real quick,
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Green
Done.
Lantern,
Okay,
please.
Ant-Man.
Yes.
Spoiler free. What did you guys think about it? General, loose terms. Maud Garrett.
It was pretty good. It slot very, very easily into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They kind of it ties all in very, very well. For me, my favorite part about this movie is that when you see all these Avengers movies, it's all about the end of the world, et cetera, et cetera. I like that the stakes also are shrunk down like Ant-Man, and they kind of provide a different perspective on what the stakes are. And that, to me, was lovely. I thought that Paul Rudd was fantastic in this casting. Sorry, I just read a comment. And I believe that Michael Pena, yeah, right? And I believe that Michael Pena was a scene stealer, and I thought Michael Douglas was fantastic, and holy hell, Lily, what's her name?
Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly has got some bicep muscles on her, and she
Right?
could probably punch you all in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, she easily could. I would let her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to
That's
say the casting in this movie was fantastic. They did a great job. I could tell, you can tell when you watch it that some parts are an Edgar Wright movie.
Yes.
That doesn't change that I love it. It's just kind of strange for me. But overall, great movie. I enjoyed it more than Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yes.
I
I
agree
think
with
I
that.
had to, but that's different. I mean, some people liked it. I felt like I was really searching for things to like in Avengers: Age of Ultron. I could say I liked 98% of this movie a lot, and it opened up a whole new
World.
section of the MCU. Yes.
But see, the ant part was actually a little uncomfortable for me. I get it when it was like they had provided a comedic role a little bit, but other times I didn't feel that was a strong point in the movie.
The comedy.
No,
The
ants.
The
Oh,
little
the
bit
ants.
The ants of Ant-Man. Yeah.
I think it was very fun, completely disposable, like a
Yeah.
lot of Marvel movies. There's the only real complaint I can level at it is there's moments where you realize that there's a much more creative movie in here, And I think those are the Edgar Wright moments that you realize, like, this movie just could have been a lot better, but it's fine. It's completely fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I couldn't shake the feeling that we probably should have just made a
Oh, you
Wasp
finally giving me
movie.
the money that you owe me. Good. What's happening?
Well, here's the thing. Many weeks ago on this show, I bet Sam Basher here that this movie was not going to be any good. I bet him $10 that I would not like this movie and that it was going to tank. And Sam, I owe you $10.
Oh my
Here's your $10.
I'm gonna
Sam has a
cry.
point.
All in single dollar bills,
Yeah.
so that you can make it rain on yourself if you would like. Yeah, I thought this movie was a crazy amount of fun. I feel like it's right now the movie that we got. I'd give it a 7.5. I'd give it a C plus. But like not a bad movie by any stretch. Really fun, very memorable. I don't know how often I'll go back to it, but if they had been able to polish that script for like another month, it would have easily been a BB plus. I feel like the weaknesses in the movie are entirely in the sometimes bald scripting.
There's a lot of things that just happen because they happen.
But most of the things that do happen are really fun, played by great actors who are doing a terrific job, and it has my favorite superhero score in, I think, the last 10 years.
Can we all do? I don't know how you guys feel. I think Michael. I did not like the score at all. I'm sorry.
Really?
But to each his own. Just because there's parts of it, like I think I've heard this same song, the same beat in every single Marvel movie. Michael Pena, to me, was the best part of the movie.
He's so great, isn't he?
Oh man,
He's really terrific.
I
don't want to say any spoilers. It's just he's such a colorful character.
As instantly likable as Paul Rudd is, and legitimately, like he's just so likable. Maybe could we just cast Michael Pena as Scott Lang?
I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, he's a great dramatic and comedic actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
But I
gosh.
think
End of
he's-
watch.
Oh
boy.
yeah, I hate the ending of the watch because
I watched it on a
it's
plane.
too obvious. Anyway, we're
I
not
cried.
talking about the watch. We're talking
the
about
plane?
Ant-Man.
So hard.
Have we done our spoiler-free review? Have we given enough?
The
The
give it a
action
letter
scenes
grade.
are pretty great.
Oh yeah, the action scenes are very very cool, and
Because they
I-
were all designed by Edgar Wright.
Yep.
yeah the big ones at least.
Yeah.
The really big ones.
And you can
yeah.
also tell the comedic scenes that were scripted by Adam McKay.
Yeah. No, you can also tell the things that were shoved down their collective throats by Marvel that they had to include.
Yeah.
How stupid cute was that little girl?
Crazy
Wasn't
cute.
she great?
Like little kids in movies annoy me most of the time. That girl was so adorable.
Yeah,
Scott
she was
Lang's
fantastic.
little one.
But that's the reason why he's doing everything.
Yeah.
It's for her.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Marvel
oh,
loves
maybe
their
I-
plot
Yeah.
devices.
I would kill someone for her too.
There are a couple people who are
She's the Tesseract.
repeatedly tweeting
Thatcher.
and commenting that we're not
superhero.
talking about Deadpool. The reason why we're not talking about Deadpool is because the trailer has not been officially released and most people haven't gotten to see it. So we're going to talk about it in 3 weeks when it is officially released, when they finish the event.
Comic-Con yelled at people for looking at these trailers ahead of time, so we're being nice.
Yeah. So we're not talking about it, and also because there's a lot to talk about this week. So hold your horses. You'll have your day in court. Okay. DJ, how about you do your pull list so that people who haven't seen Ant-Man yet can take an opportunity to bow out?
Oh, they can all just leave while I'm doing my pull.
No, after your pull list.
After.
And then we're going to talk about it
I
with
see
the
how it is.
spoiler wall, behind the spoiler wall.
Behind the spoiler wall, well, on this side of the spoiler wall, next week's actually a pretty rad week for comics. We've got another crazy Archie crossover.
Nice.
Archie versus Sharknado.
Oh,
hell
cool.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
No.
The first issue of Cyborg standalone comic, which the creative team on it is really cool. I've heard.
Where does it
it's really
start
cool.
from? Is it Origin or?
No, it's from wherever he's at New 52. But like with most of these Divergence books, you can just jump right in, and it should give you all the information you need to get into it. And especially since Cyborg's getting his own movies in the Justice League movie, this will be a good opportunity for people that want to know more about him. Second issue of We Are Robin. Robin is the identity of Robin is basically a street gang now. It's like the Warriors in the DC universe. It's awesome. Check it out. Over on the Marvel side of things, we have all new Hawkeye. Last week was the belated end of Matt Fraction's run on Hawkeye. Now we're still dealing with Jeff Lemire's Hawkeye book,
Oh, okay.
and it sounds like in the description that we're getting things seeded. In what will be in the Hawkeye book post Secret Wars. Then going on in Secret Wars, a lot of old storylines are being picked back up. Grant Morrison's X-Men run is coming back in a book called E for Extinction, and it's apparently fantastic. I have not had a chance to check it out. That's the second issue of that. Anybody who was a fan of the Star-Lord comic written by Sam Humphries, he's continuing that story in Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde and Star-Lord had a thing.
Really?
Star-Lord?
Yeah, Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy and Kitty
What?
Pryde have a thing in the Star-Lord comic, and that's continuing in
really
Secret
cute.
Wars with Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde. But it's not the same Kitty Pryde; it's the Kitty Pryde from Age of Apocalypse. And so there's a little bit of tension now.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh, my head can't get there.
Really? It's cute.
I like it.
And on the indie side of things, another issue of Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses #6. It's awesome. Just read it.
Right.
Just read Stray Bullets. And a new indie book called Wolf by Alice Cott. I believe that was the writer. It's got a high price tag, but it's got like 50 pages, and the premise is interesting. It's a supernatural detective story.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Better than
comes a pun.
Telltales. No.
Oh, no. Okay.
Better than Telltale's Big B.
Big B, I've heard really good things about that. Fables. The Fables game. Yes.
Yeah.
Different than that.
Okay.
Yes.
Sam, you've been raising your hand. Do you have a point?
I was reading Justice League of America and the regular Justice League comic. Both are really good. The
Yes.
Justice League of America comic is playing with this. I don't want to
Crazy.
actually. No.
Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy.
crazy stuff.
It's a
Yeah.
really cool idea, and also
Crazy
the regular
big concept.
Justice League one is the Dark Side War, and it's. Oh, it's getting so weird.
Yep.
It's getting so weird. Like Metron just showed up.
Yep.
I don't.
Yep.
Things always get weird when Metron shows
Both
up.
those books
And
are really solid.
Yeah.
Star Wars comics, I stopped reading them because it's like 12 pages and it's $5. So Comixology.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Digital comics should not be the same price as a physical copy.
Nope.
That makes no sense.
Nope.
No.
It makes no sense.
And
I'd
they're
buy
so
more.
quick.
Yeah.
They are over. I honestly, like, my wrist doesn't even get sore. It's like, swoop.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over.
Seriously,
Well, I'm not even
there's
turning it.
websites where you can find a brick or mortar store close to you. Go support.
Local comic
Yeah,
shops.
local comic shops until digital comics can get their act together and charge less.
It's
It
stupid.
should be
It's a
$2.
joke.
Yep. Okay, so we are going to be talking about Ant-Man freely. Spoilers flying everywhere, theories. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it spoiled for you, get out now and come back after you've seen the film. So first things first, I want to address this comment in the chat, which isn't spoilery, but I really do think it's true. Anderson Price said, I really want to see Corey Stoll play Lex Luthor.
Yes.
He did
Disagree.
amazing as Yellow Jacket, and for some
would've
reason
been-
reminded me of Lex.
Yes,
would've
he
been a much
did
better Lex.
he did a great
I
job
thought
as
he
a
did
villain.
a great job.
I thought he was
Yeah.
my favorite villain of the MCU. I can say that. I know we were talking about this earlier, and you said Ward from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not everyone has seen that. He's great because he's complex, and they have enough time to like work on him.
Yeah.
But everybody else, they're just disposable. Ultron. He's
Yes.
Ultron.
Yeah.
Horrible. Sorry,
I-
horrible. He was not a
If
good
someone's
villain.
going to kill me,
Okay,
I'd
I
like
don't
them
know
to tell
about
me a
horrible.
joke first.
I would say Red Skull is far more bland and stupid.
Okay,
than-
wait. Not even bland. I was threatened by Red Skull. I was not once threatened by Ultron in that movie.
Nothing Corey Stoll did in this movie made any sense to me.
As a crazy
character.
person.
But that's the point. They even make a thing like they establish earlier on that you need to wear a protective helmet when you're shrinking because the chemicals will affect your brain.
But before he even shrank, they're saying that the
The
chemicals are making him
affected
crazy.
his brain. And he goes to one of his one of my business partners. You're not so good on the plan. I'm going to test this shrink thing on you, and it turns you to like who? Why? There was
'Cause
the
he's
only motivation was
ruthless.
Hank Pym didn't trust me like I wanted
Well,
him to.
that's the thing. That's what makes it so kind of like bonkers and heartbreaking and weird.
And comic booky.
And comic booky is this is a guy who is willing to let the world go to hell because
Money, greed.
Well, no, not even that. Because he's pissed off that Hank Pym didn't love him.
Daddy issues.
Daddy didn't love him enough, so he's going to let the world go to hell. I think that that's kind of rad that we're letting something. It's an intimate story, and the motivation for the villain is also adequately intimate.
And they even established, like, even near the end of the movie, like, how crazy he is in the airplane, in the helicopter. He's firing.
He's firing
everywhere.
at everyone.
And
He
like,
doesn't
he
care.
even
But
knows he
again,
won't hit
I
him.
don't think crazy is a good character motivation.
Oh.
And I think Marvel has done a very piss poor job with its villains overall. And I think this is another example of like he looked threatening in the suit when he's in the daughter's bedroom.
Oh yeah, when it was like.
Yeah, but I didn't care about him. I didn't understand him as a
If you
character.
compare him to Heath Ledger's Joker, like
That's not a fair.
I-
That's not a fair.
If you
comparison.
Well,
if
it
you
should
compare
be,
him to
because-
Loki,
no, because
if you compare him to Loki,
Loki
even then it's just like
me.
it's
I
it
was
doesn't.
never
I don't.
scared.
Well, it's not
But it's
about
because
scared.
the
It's I
stakes
don't
are
understand.
lowered.
No, it's just I don't think it did an add. I think the explanation was why is he doing this? Because he's evil. Why does he shrink his? Why lambs instead of rats? Because he's evil.
Okay, that was the most frustrating thing in this movie.
Just-
It's like we already know this guy's evil. We already hate him. We don't need another reason to think he's evil.
Yeah.
That made no sense and was gratuitous and gross.
To be fair,
It
though,
was
the lambs
gross.
were cute.
They were real cute.
Oh, they were
then you
cute,
turn
and
them
a
into
tiny
goo.
tiny lamb is cuter than a tinier rat.
I also don't quite understand
Sam has a
why. To me, as a fanboy, my favorite parts was the flashback. We got to see the wasp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did your heart kind of like burst?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, oh, it's a
Yes.
wasp.
And
no
also in the
hesitation.
teaser, we got to see a hint at Hope becoming Wasp. Which, by the way, I can't help shake the fact that like maybe this should have just been a Wasp movie. And I mean, did we
Yeah,
need?
someone,
I like Ant-Man.
but I liked it. But
If it was Ant-Man and Wasp,
and
as
also,
a team-up movie,
if you can build a
Evangeline can
suit,
totally do Wasp. She's like,
if you could build a
ass.
suit with wings, and you built a suit with wings in
Wings.
the past, why are we
wouldn't
still
you?
relying on ants to fly around?
He
Saravia,
likes
again,
ants.
at Forever
does
a
like ants.
Killjoy, writes,
Why even talk to him?
Evangeline Lilly was secretly the main role in this movie. Paul Rudd was amazing, but holy shit, I loved her in it.
I was actually nervous about her because I have
Same,
such a
same.
resentment towards her because of Kate from Lost. Because Kate was one of my least favorite characters in that show, but she was amazing in this. I know people are gonna give me hate for that, but
I liked her in The Hobbit. My
I
thing
didn't see The
is,
Hobbit.
you
I
know,
liked her in The
back in
Hobbit,
Middle
too.
Earth, they didn't have Botox, so why does she? That was like my only thing.
Can we go around?
But she's stunning and
point.
she's fantastic
Good
and
point.
she kills it in this role and I think she's fantastic. And when they did do the unveil of her as going to be Wasp, I was pumped. I
Yeah,
was
costume was real
excited.
cool.
And not just pumped because of like the costume or the potential, whatever. Her performance, the way it plays out on her face when she sees this costume and she realizes what's happening, and it's a validation of every terrible thing that she's ever had to go through, and every time that she's ever tried to earn her father's respect, and everything she's ever felt about her mother's death, all culminates in one look. That's acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
right?
And my other thing, and I don't want to harp on this, but every now and then, and you see it with Lois Lane in Superman in Man of Steel, but they're the same age, Paul Rudd and Evangeline. Well, they're around the same age. Usually
Isn't
you
that
have like
nice?
the older guy and then the young
Yeah.
woman. But these two, they're equals in so many ways.
Every
in fact,
time I-
she's better than him
Yeah.
in
In
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
ways. And she
things.
knows
Every
it too.
time I see Bradley Cooper make out with Jennifer Lawrence in a movie, it's like
Old enough to be your dad.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that's
wait, no. What?
honestly
How
one
old's
of
Bradley Cooper?
He's like 40 something.
he's 40, I think.
And
Anyway,
she's
Anyway.
20
it's a little,
24.
it's weird. It's a little weird.
It's a
fine.
little weird. But that's actually one of my favorite moments in this movie is when Scott says to Hope, like, do you understand why I'm in the suit? It's because I'm expendable.
Yeah.
Like you have to know that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Also, how good was Michael Douglas as Hank Pym?
Yeah.
I liked him a
Terrific.
lot.
I was
Terrific.
actually a little nervous. I felt like
Yeah.
they needed star power, and they like threw Michael Douglas in there.
Yeah,
That's
but he
what I
was
was
great.
worried.
But
No.
Michael
I
Douglas is a
bought him- I
fantastic
bought him
actor.
since
It's been a
then.
while since they've let him off the chain.
Also, like segue a little, but young Michael Douglas. Wow, that looked really good.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Young Michael
Yeah.
Douglas looked amazing, and also the CG in this movie, I had no problems with. It was
Yeah.
great.
The best special effect in the new Terminator movie is young Arnold.
Hmm.
So that technology to make people look younger is on point.
And on point.
But
Older. Hey, Haley Atwell's fine.
oh man,
It's cool to see her, though.
I was so excited to see her. I didn't necessarily
Wanna
need
try
that he's randomly selling at the Hydra. For some reason, he's probably said that was a little much.
And the other
It
thing
could have
is,
been anyone.
Yeah.
why don't we get Iron Man? Oh,
Yeah,
because he's too busy.
Why would you even bring that up? Who just brings up the Avengers
they
as an
had
option
to.
to do? But I mean,
They had to tie it in.
I
to
didn't
the
need
universe.
it. Also, I did like. I spent a lot of this movie trying to figure out what was it that made forced Edgar Wright to be like, I'm done. And at first, I thought it was going to be the Avengers tie-in, but I liked the fact that his first heist mission, it was supposed to be a Stark facility, and ends up being an Avengers
I
facility.
liked it until
Yeah.
Sam Wilson comes out.
You needed somebody.
If you're gonna do it, make it everybody.
or
That-
make
that
it
was
somebody
like-
important.
Having
Well,
Andy
now
Mackie
he's not
was
important,
just like,
now
well,
he's
he's
important.
he's the only one who's free at the moment because he's not doing as many movies as the other guys. That's
but
what
it
it was.
also kind of bothered me because there's a point in that fight where Sam Wilson looks like when he punches Ant-Man to being big again, he hits small Ant-Man, he comes big. It's like, man, fucking Sam Wilson is on point. And then Ant-Man makes him look like a chump at the end. Like he throws him through a garage door, rewires the thing, and it's like not to harp too much on this, but like one of the 2 Black Avengers that we have, and we're gonna take another white guy that we're trying
Nick
to.
Fury. They tried to kill Nick Fury so bad.
But my only difficulty with Winter Soldier is it's a big long arc to have a white guy back in charge. And it's one of these things shouldn't matter. Well, Captain America.
Oh, Captain America.
It shouldn't matter. But at the point we're in this culture, and if you're Marvel and getting all the shit that you're getting for not being diverse enough, you're really gonna have another white guy that you're trying to introduce as your hero. School one of the 2 black guys.
But he barely did. Sorry.
Yeah.
What he did well was realize, like, because this is another guy who doesn't have superpowers, but he's relying on a suit.
Yeah.
But it found that this suit was kind of like. I always think the same thing. It's like if you shrink down to that size and you start sprinting, you run a centimeter.
Yeah.
You run an inch.
Yeah.
A bit. Small.
Oh, there you go, America.
Yeah. Like when you power sprint, you don't actually get very fast. So I was like, nah, that's not entirely right. But how is Ant-Man important? How will he be crucial? How is he a member that they need and rely on him?
He's a master's in electrical engineering. He's their only spy that they really have on staff.
Black Widow.
She is
and Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye.
Yeah. And he's actually not a spy. He's just a burglar.
Which, by the way, do we know how? Because there's times where it seemed like he only.
She's not a spy. She's an assassin.
Wait, it looks. There was times where it looked like he'd only burgled his bosses, and then there was times where, and then he's leaping around all parkour style, where it seemed like he'd been doing burglary for a long time.
Yeah, that
I never
wasn't
quite
clear.
understood how
Like
long
either
you were a
he
thief.
did it and then became an electrical engineer, and then he burgled a big burgle, and then ended up in prison, and now he's burgling again. So I don't know, but I have to sorry about the Falcon thing really
Big
quick.
Burgle is my
He didn't-
favorite Quentin Tarantino ripoff movie.
He didn't beat Falcon. He just outsmarted him a little bit because Falcon's never fought somebody that big.
You know what I thought would have made
it.
that better is the great gag at the end, in that scene with Michael Pena, where Michael Pena's explaining how he got connected. People
those
was a
gags are
straight up
amazing.
Edgar Wright
Yes,
something.
absolutely. 100%.
I think when at the end when he's doing it again and he's talking about how Falcon was looking for him, that last beat of the movie, he's like, I said, yeah. I think it would have been better if Paul Rudd was like, what did he say? And Falcon comes in, like, sucker punches him. And he's like, I said yes.
Yeah,
that would have been a cool, like, Falcon's still a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would've
Back
been
to
great.
Michael Pena, man. Those
Michael Pena was so funny.
conversation loops are amazing.
I want to name check a couple great things that the movie did right. Simple, subtle reference to Spider-Man.
Yep.
What happened? How did that happen again?
The guy, when they're,
Michael Pena is explaining the Falcon part again. Sorry,
Yes.
yeah,
Go for it.
Oh yeah,
You're
he's
more on
explaining
point about it than I am.
He's speaking about the Falcon conversation, and Michael Pena is saying, "Oh, we have a guy who swings, we have a guy who climbs walls, we have a guy who." That's it. That's all he
Yeah,
says.
we
That's
got a
all
guy
that
who
was.
climbs
Okay,
walls.
no wonder it missed.
which is the one guy.
Which is
The
one guy.
I don't know whatever. But you were listening.
Yeah, they did that right. Again, name checking the '60s era Ant-Man and Wasp segment.
Tales to Astonish.
Yeah.
Tales to Astonish.
Incredible.
I heard only 3 people freak out about that in the theater.
I thought that the beginning, like the suitcase fight, was excellent.
The last act of action sequences, I think, could have been set up better. But were great when he's running. That reference to how all these movies end and the city's being destroyed, when he's running through the model of the city and the bullets are ripping apart, and then the suitcase fight, and then the fight in the bedroom and using his little size-changing shurikens with the Thomas Tank Engine was great.
It's a weird dog.
That was all. That was all awesome.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids much though.
Yeah.
Anyone else see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids all
I
through
thought that the subatomic world was we were set up for this like amazing journey, and then it just kind of like he got through it very quickly, and then I think it's kind of bullshit that he doesn't remember anything.
I do think
little.
there is a quick reference. You can see a silhouette very briefly, which I think was supposed to be obviously probably the Wasp.
Or they
Doctor
say
Strange.
the silhouette has a cape. So
Weird.
and they said that
I
they
don't know what that
wanted
would
a
be.
Doctor Strange tie-in because this other world, this micro universe is supposed to be what Doctor Strange like taps into.
And cue Matthew McConaughey, because that's where he's in.
Yeah,
Interstellar.
right. But I do think that
That's how it felt,
also
yeah.
Michael Douglas has said somebody asked him like, who would you want to cast as Wasp? He's like, oh, Catherine Zeta-Jones. I think she's been in a few things that were good. Like that'd be
That's
fun.
funny.
He's
But
funny.
but I liked the raw creativity of that idea, and that was one of those moments that was cool. Like my mouth opened in the movie because it kept going, it kept getting
Yeah.
weirder, and
Yeah.
I was surprised that a Marvel. I wish it could have
Went that
gone
weird.
Yeah.
weirder.
Like the kaleidoscope,
Scope
like
thing.
warping
Yeah.
and closing
Yeah.
in on itself. Like at that point, I was just like,
I don't think I was breathing.
Yeah, but I also thought it was a moment that if Edgar Wright had directed it, it probably would have been a little bit more mind blowing.
Yeah.
yeah, I could say that. But like a lot of people are complaining, like, oh, it could have been a better movie with Edgar Wright. I think it would have just been different. I still really like this movie,
Yeah,
and it
think,
came out the wrong time.
Yeah,
Thing came out the
let's
wrong
just
time.
take a second to appreciate how good the movie is, considering the fact that its director and writing team dropped out 8 weeks before production, and that the star of the movie and his friend, who is also a great writer director, don't get me wrong, basically rewrote the movie in 8 weeks. Guy came on and made his movie in 8 weeks, and it works really well.
If they came up with that in 8 weeks, props.
Well, I think a lot of it is still the bones of Edgar Wright and Joe Cornish. Joe Cornish did fucking Attack the Block, man.
Yeah, I
anyway,
know.
whatever.
Hey,
I think
their
it's a-
script for Tintin is awesome. That movie's great.
I think the it's a testament to the problem with the Marvel formula is it boxes you in. It's very hard for a movie to really step out and be great, but it also keeps movies like this from completely falling apart. And so I think we can probably all agree that the worst Marvel movie is still Thor: The Dark World.
Agreed.
Oh God.
Yeah, Thor: The Dark World is still the
All right,
worst.
we
really
got to
bad.
wrap up. Where does this
So
movie
bad.
fall for you in the Marvel pantheon, starting with Maude?
I disagree with Sam. I actually preferred Age of Ultron to Ant-Man, but I did find this to be a breath of fresh air. It's different to what you get. It's not boom, 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 world's gonna end. It's just a different take, and it works, and it's lovely.
One of the funniest Marvel movies out there, and I liked. I said this to people I was talking to, but like Guardians of the Galaxy was this brand new take on a Marvel film. It was like a space adventure, and for me, it felt like what other people thought when they first watched Star Wars.
Sure.
That's an exaggeration level, but this felt like the exact opposite in a good way. So that's why I loved it. It's amazing.
To me, if I was 13 and watched this movie, Ant-Man would hands down be my favorite Avenger.
Are you saying that after watching all of them too?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. If I was 13 and I watched all of them, and I started when I was 6, he would be my favorite. He's got a little MacGyver element, whatever. It's good. It's good. I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I know. He's just weird about it. I
don't.
can't talk about it.
Here's the
Nope,
thing. A
nope,
lot of
nope,
Marvel
nope.
movies have the same problem where you can, for someone like me, I can see the gears. And the movies that really, I really enjoy, you don't see the gears on. You don't see the gears on. What did you guys think of the tag?
The final
the
scene.
the final scene set up for Captain America:
Out of
Civil War.
place.
A little clunky, but exciting.
Bucky's so pouty with those lips.
And I was like, someone tweeted at me that it was going to be a Hulk thing, that Hulk was actually going to be in Civil War, and you're gonna have everybody but Thor from the Avengers in there.
No.
But it's fine. I was fine. It
Are they all
felt
cool
way
now?
out of place.
I just-
Is it
Cap and,
weird
Bucky?
that is it weird
They
that
cool?
I
That-
don't
That
know.
that whole
Spoken.
storyline played out off screen.
Yeah, the whole hunt for Winter Soldier.
I imagine
off
that it's
off-screen.
going to be the opening sequence, the cold open of Civil War will happen before this scene.
Or maybe, show how.
Will be everything leading up to how they caught
And
him.
what
no.
are they supposed to steal?
I don't know.
What?
They had a conversation of like, we need to do this. We can't tell Tony. Da 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 da. Oh, I know a guy. So what are they asking Ant-Man to steal for them?
Maybe
don't
just shrink Bucky into the Avengers place.
Yeah, but he needs a helmet, and it'll make him crazy.
I know they dropped the stuff on the ant and it grew and was fine. Turned into a dog.
Which,
Well, how do you know if Ant Dog isn't crazy
What if
by
it eats
acting
the
like
dog?
a
Oh
dog?
my God! Please add Ant Dog to the Ant-Man comic that's about to come out. So he has a sidekick ant that's giant and he shrinks with
Oh,
it.
Anthony.
Anthony.
okay.
I did not. They
loved
worked so
Anthony.
hard to make us care about Anthony, and I
I
knew he was going to
loved
die.
him.
And when it happened, it was so
I
anticlimactic.
love
Makes
yeah,
you-
it
Anthony.
was, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I did
didn't-
not give a shit
I
at
did
all.
not
Well,
connect-
that's because there's like millions of them.
Guys,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we are out of time, and hopefully, if we have a little time left over next week, we'll continue this conversation. But I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Actually, we're not going to be here next week. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Superhero Roundup. Next week, we're all going to be at VidCon, so there will not be a show. But the following week, there will be a show on July 31st, 4 p.m. live. You should tune in. SourceFedNERD, Matt Lieberman, Maude Garrett, Sam Basher, DJ Wooldridge. Please return. We love you all. Have a wonderful 2 weeks, and we will see you on the 31st.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Just saying I connected more with the ant from Honey I Shrunk the Kids than
Yes.
Anthony.
Yeah. True.
I was eating the cream.
The Queen.
Queen.
Vicky.
Yeah, back to the nipple talk.
Yours have got